Welcome to the IVM Podcast Network.
You're listening to TFG Cricket.
A very good morning to everybody. This is Nikhil here. You're listening to TFG Fantasy Cricket Podcast. I'm with Vivek Krishna, and today we are going to talk about Melbourne Stars versus Adelaide Strikers at MCG. Expect a good match. Weather could be a problem, but there are a lot of changes in both the teams as Australia is gearing up for the ODIs. Vivek, your thoughts?
Yes, forced changes, Nikhil.
Yeah.
Like you said, Australia will take on Pakistan on Friday, the first one day, because of which all these guys, a few from Adelaide Strikers and quite a few from Melbourne Stars.
And big names.
Huge names. Obviously, these guys have been
game changers,
integral part of the Australian one-day outfit.
Yeah.
They are all match winners in their own right. A few have been in and out of the team, but look, Australia have tremendous depth, and obviously the selectors have their eye on the proceedings in the Big Bash.
Right.
And you talk about names like Glenn Maxwell,
Yep.
Adam Zampa,
James Faulkner.
James Faulkner is there, Travis Head. All these guys have been doing wonderfully well in the Big Bash.
Yeah.
And the surprise inclusion of Billy Stanlake has raised quite a few eyebrows. I don't know why the selectors have gone ahead with him. Not to say that he hasn't bowled well in the Big Bash, but there are quite a few fast bowlers coming through the ranks in Australia.
Yeah.
And I think this is just an experiment.
So let's take it team-wise.
Yeah, sure,
Okay.
sure.
If we look at Melbourne Stars, we have Maxwell, Zampa and Faulkner, who will be unavailable due to selection in Australia's 14-man squad. And the guys who are players who are replacing them is Peter Hanscom, who is done with his test duties.
Yeah.
And
he didn't play in the test matches as well. I think he batted, but he didn't keep wickets. Obviously,
Yeah.
they had Matthew Wade doing the keeping duties, and Hanscom, I think, has become more of a number 5, number 6 batsman. I'm not too sure about his flair and flamboyance, but he's got some runs, and I think that always helps, Nikhil. And in any case, I don't think Australia consider him as a important player as far as one-day cricket is concerned. But
where Saigar comes in? Oh,
Yes.
Ish Sodhi is back.
Ish Sodhi is back. Yes,
Yeah.
it's a direct replacement. You see, Nikhil, spinner for spinner. So I think Ish Sodhi has done wonderfully well, and I think he played in the second and third T20 against Bangladesh. He picked up a few wickets, and I think he's replacing Chris Jordan, if I'm not wrong, who's unavailable due to injury.
Yes.
So yes, that's a big loss, because Jordan has been bowling really well with the new ball, and especially you talk about slogos between 16 and 20. He's also got runs with the willow, so he's a complete all-round cricketer, live wire in the field also. So obviously it's a loss. Having said that, the backup in the spin department, obviously they'll have Liam O'Connor is there, and you talk about Ish Sodhi. So they've got a very decent attack, in my opinion.
Yes, and especially the batting will be backed up by Ben Dunk.
Ben Dunk will open, yes, for sure. I think Tim Ludeman is back, the
Yes.
crowd favourite. I'm not too sure if he's going to open with Ben Dunk, but I have a feeling Jake Weatherfeld will be given another opportunity. And then obviously you have the veteran skipper coming in at number 4, number 5, that is Brad Hodge.
Yes.
Then you talk about Kyron Pollard. I'm not too sure Jake Lehman will he feature or not. But again, they have a very formidable batting lineup. They have been doing reasonably well in this competition. Yes, there are changes, and it does affect your combination to some extent. But I think the replacements are also not that bad. In my opinion, more than the Adelaide Strikers, Nikhil, I genuinely feel the Melbourne Stars will be on the back foot.
Yes.
Which is why I seriously feel, although Melbourne are playing at home, their own backyard, they'll have about 60-70,000 fans cheering for them. I hope so. But Adelaide Strikers will have the slight edge. Again, you're losing match winners in Maxwell, Adam Zampa and James Faulkner. I mean, all these guys can bat a bit, can bowl a bit. They're outstanding in the field. And I mean, on their day, they can win matches on their own. So,
Yeah.
you're
So
talking
Stars
about
is a depleted side right now.
depleted. That is the right word. Depleted is the right word. So it will be interesting to see how these new guys. I think they have roped in quite a few great cricketers. I'm not too sure if they'll be in the starting 11, but I have a feeling that Ivan Gulbis could make the the squad. Peter Hanscom, like you mentioned, will be there as well. And you have two experienced pacers in Ben Hilfinos and Scott Boland. And the spin department, I think, will fall into the shoulders of Michael Beer.
Okay. You would bet on Marcus Stoinis?
Oh, well, much to my surprise, he was benched in the last game. He was the 12th man. And obviously, when you have far too many match winners in your side, Rob Quiney returned in the second game. And the way he has been going, and he has scored, I think he has played 2 matches, he has scored 2 50s, 2 match winning knocks. So it is very difficult to ignore him. He will continue opening the innings with Luke Wright. Then you have obviously Kevin Peterson, you have David Hussey, all these guys coming in. So it looks a decent squad. I'm not saying they cannot pull this one off, but I feel as compared to the Adelaide Strikers, these guys will be more affected.
Okay, so I'll just read out the 13-player squad for Melbourne Stars. It is David Hussey, followed up by Michael Beer, Scott Boland, Liam Bowe, Cameron Cannon, Seb Gotch, Evan Gulbis, Peter Hanscom, Ben Hilfinas, Kevin Peterson, Rob Quiney, Marcus Stoinis, Luke Wright.
Yeah. So there you see, suddenly you mentioned 2-3 names, unheard names, Nikhil.
Yeah.
In fantasy cricket, I think it's very, very risky. You always go for the tried and tested name, unless, of course, you're 100% sure that so-and-so player is going to take to the field, and you also know what he's capable of doing on the field.
So Kevin Peterson is in a form. Good form.
Kevin Peterson is doing wonderfully well, man. He's been all over the T20 circuit. He's become a freelancer. He's a part-time commentator, part-time golfer. He's doing all sorts of things, and I think that keeps him in good spirit. I think people like Kevin Peterson, they always have to do something or the other. Very, very fidgety, very restless guy. But I think that is the kind of charisma, that is the kind of X factor Kevin Peterson brings to any T20 league around the world. And many people say he's only talk, but you look at his performance. Somebody who does commentary for about 3-4 hours, 2-3 times in a row, and then suddenly gets onto the park, gets a 65 or 40 deliveries, wins you the game. Because you're talking about, and who's the loser ultimately? It's English cricket is losing big time. But you and I, fans like you and me, we are getting entertained. No problem.
Yes. Now looking at the Adelaide Strikers 13-player squad, it starts with Brad Hodge, the captain, Wes Agar, John O'Dean, Ben Dunk, Ben Laughlin, Jake Layman, and Tam Ludwan, Michael Nasser, Liam O'Connor, Karen Pollard, Kelvin Smith, Is Sodhi, and Jack Wetherald.
Yes. Another settled squad, I think, despite the 2 changes. Travis Head obviously is a big loss, Nikhil, and so's the case with Chris Jordan. But I think they have decent depth. You talk about John O'Dean, you talk about Ben Laughlin. So these guys are pretty established cricketers in their own right. So I don't think Adelaide Strikers will have too much of a problem. I still feel if Melbourne defend this match, they might end up losing the game. On the other hand, if they are able to chase, then you have people like Quiney, Wright, Hussey and Peterson setting up the tempo, and that could work in their favour.
Okay. So who would be your fantasy 11? Yes,
Nikhil. So it's not been easy. For a change, I would say the budget is no longer a constraint. Despite picking all the players, you still are left with some money, so that's not a problem. So yes, Kevin Peterson, Rob Quiney, Jake Weatherfield, Brad Hodge should be there. Ben Dunk, our keeper and vice captain.
Yes.
Talk about all-rounders. If there is no Maxwell, if there is no Faulkner, where do you go? I think with some hesitation this time, Nikhil, we pick Kieran Pollard. I don't think the West Indian giant has been in the best of form. He's been dropping catches also, which is very, very rare for a super athletic fielder like him. So I think he has to pull up his socks, and it's time that he stands up, rises to the occasion and says, boss, I'm going to be a match winner, if not with the ball, surely with the bat. Then you talk about bowlers, Is Sodhi, Ben Laughlin, for all the experience that is going to bring to the table, and 2 from Melbourne Stars will be Scott Boland and obviously Ben Hilfinos. Captain, well, I think Luke Wright. I persist with him. In the 5 games that he has played, he has flopped only once. So there is no reason. There have been quite a few choices. Kevin Peterson is one.
Yes.
Ben Dunk, Brad Hodge has been doing very well.
A lot of people will go for Rob Quiney as well.
Well. I mean, who can stand up and argue, boss, it's a wrong decision the way he has been going. But somehow I feel the law of averages will catch up on him. And if you go down the history, watch all his records, he is not someone who will keep getting 50s every match. So that's where I feel I would give 3 names: Kevin Peterson, Luke Wright and Ben Dunk. I think you should revolve your choices around these three batsmen.
We are sticking to?
We are sticking to Ben Dunk as the vice captain and obviously Luke Wright as our captain.
Okay. So guys, always remember that Australia are gearing up for their ODI match series, and a lot of players have been missing.
Yes.
You can read the article on our website, thefangarage.com. You can follow us on Twitter at TFG Fantasy 11 and on Facebook, Fantasy Pundit.
Yes.
You can listen to our podcast on IndusVox Media, iTunes, SoundCloud, Audio Boom, and also on YouTube channel.
Yeah, we do this daily. We are putting in all the efforts because obviously we value your loyalty, your money, and we want everybody to make we want you guys to have good time playing fantasy cricket, and we'll try and provide you as much reliable information as possible. So that's where we do this. I think Nikhil, we are doing this right till the big bash finishes.
Yes.
A 2 hour before the game, we do this 10-minute episode. So tune in daily, guys, barring the Saturdays and Sundays. We also need some break.
Because, in the final hours, there are a lot of announcements that come in, which players might, fantasy players might miss out. So do listen to us, subscribe and share, keep hunting. Bye-bye.
Our podcasts bring all the boys to the yard, and damn right, they're better than yours. But you don't need to stand outside in the yard. Just follow IVM Podcasts on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. We might be on Tinder too. Just go ahead and swipe right.